All right, so most of us, I would say, are in search of a meaningful life, but sometimes we just can't help but forget what's really important. Recently, Shaich, the founder and former CEO of Panera Bread, talked with New Day producer Suzie Wiley about his new book, Know What Matters: Lessons from a Lifetime of Transformations.
Ron, you talk about in your book that you transformed Panera 4 times. Let's talk about transformation and why it's important, both in business but also in life.
Well, I think that the world is continually changing. And if the world is changing, we've got to change with it. And the reality is many large companies have gotten very good at delivering what they know how to do and not particularly good at adjusting and changing into a changing world. The key thing of any enterprise, and in fact, your own life, is discovering today what's going to matter tomorrow and make sure you arrive there when that future unfolds.
I like that. I want to jump to something then because of what you just said. I was reading about some of the life lessons that you took from your parents. And one of them is something that really kind of stuck with me, and maybe it has something to do with also transformation, but it's living your life from the future back. Yes. And you actually call it a pre-mortem. Tell me about that and what that does for us with that kind of thinking.
I have been part of watching a number of people pass away. And I can simply tell you there's a judgment day. If you have that opportunity, you have a judgment day. I can't speak to whether it occurs up there, but I can tell you with absolute certainty, you start to review your own life. So I began a personal process every year, every Christmas week, of asking myself, where do I want to be in terms of the quality of my relationships, my friends, my family, my kids? Where do I want to be in the context of my work? Where do I want to be, if I may say, in the context of my relation with my body, my health, how I care for myself, and then ultimately my own spirituality. And I began to paint what it is I was trying to create for my life in these different spheres. And then I'd come back and I'd say, what are the initiatives that got me there? What do I have to do this year, next year, to get me to where I want to be when I get to that place in the future? And then what are the projects? Yes, that's the pre-mortem. Another way we would think of it is future back. Pre-mortem is the process of looking at yourself in the future.
Maybe this also goes into it, but one of your secrets to success I read, and actually you named your book, Know What Matters Most. How do you figure out what matters most? Because I think that's hard for some people because they maybe make too big of a list or not big enough.
To me, it's pretty fundamental. It's your work, your family and your relationships. It's your body and your health and your spiritual sense of self. That's it. I mean, those are the big ones. And, we may say what kind of, what kind of world we're leaving for everybody else. But I think you have a sense of it. And I think the point of it is, it's not that everything is planned out. We have to make a decision because we don't know how to march forward if we don't choose which way we're going. We want to go on vacation. We better decide if we're going to Wisconsin or Florida. Because if you get in the car and you don't know which way you're going, right, and you press the accelerator, what happens? The car just spins around.
Yeah.
It's about figuring out what direction you want to go in. And you don't have to be completely planful. I think actually so much of life is outside of your control. But start down a road, a direction, and then allow, if I may say, you to both keep the future in mind and evolve. There's a great expression I love. Be rigid in vision and flexible in execution. Be rigid in what you're trying to do, what you're hoping for. And at the same time, if you can, stay flexible in how you accomplish that and continue to listen and learn with empathy.
Gosh, I love that. Rigid in your plans, but flexible in the execution. Let's all remember that.